Ladies and gentlemen, you welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from my headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, Operation Goes Down, Waters Down, Back to School for the 2020-2021 academic year in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, and civil society leaders question the possibility for students and pupils to return to school in several parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country hit by socio-political security tensions, gun battles in several parts of the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The civil society leaders think that it will be practically impossible or very dangerous for students and pupils to go to school. However, school activities have resumed in major centers, but quite timid, according to information streaming into our studios from our correspondents on the ground. Professor Elvis Ngole, former minister and member of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, political scientist, condemns the celebration of 1st of October 2020 as Independence Day of the former British Southern Cameroon. He thinks it is out of place, it is unlawful to do that. You will hear him in this newscast. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news. We are beginning right away in the northwest regional chief town, Bamenda, where pupils and students return to school for the 2020-2021 academic year in an uncertain socio-political climate. That back to school was timid as a result of the Operation Goes Down imposed by pro-independence fighters, those fighting for the restoration of the independence of the former British Southern Cameroon's back to school in the northwest regional chief town and elsewhere, with our reporter Smanjik and Gabriel.
It was supposed to be a school-going day for this young man, but instead he was found loitering in the street in Bamenda, northwest region, kicking a football. Several streets were deserted by the population as most were locked up in their houses. At Progressive College in Bamenda, no teacher nor student was found on campus as the entire school was deserted. The classroom was empty. Blackboard had nothing on it. It was a total boycott of classes here. It was the same scenario we met at St. Agnes, as no student was on campus. The gates were closed. In Kumbu, everyone was indoors as nobody was spotted outside on a day many expected to see a busy street. At Ndu, the town was also calm, without people seen on the street, but it is alleged schools opened, though there was a timid turnout. It was a timid turnout that we met at Government Bilingual High School Bamendankwe, as students were spotted on campus checking their names.
We stayed in the house so long. I'm tired. I want to come to school to learn and pass and go where I'm supposed to be. Me, at my age, I'm 14 years.
The turnout at École Publique des Champions and École Publique Francophone Camp Militaire was also timid, with most parents afraid to send their kids out. For the kids who came to school on day one, they were delighted.
I feel that school is very nice. I'm very happy to be in school.
I am very happy for resumption of school because it has been a long time that we have been in the house and we haven't gone to school. So I am very happy on this day.
The head teacher of École Publique Francophone Camp Militaire says studies begin immediately.
The children, as you can see, you have gotten from them, they are very excited to be with us, to be with their friends again after having stayed at home for over 7 months. So they are really excited to come to school. And teachers are also ready.
Notwithstanding the Anglophone crisis, the corona outbreak and its preventive measures put up by government were respected in most of the schools. Tongamantum division of the Northwest region came out first on day 1 of the 2020-2021 school year with a massive turnout of its pupils and students. Generally, it has been a timid back to school in Bamenda, headquarters of the Northwest region. More schools opened their doors on day 1 of the school year than last year.
In the Southwest regional capital, Boya, back to school was equally affected by the Anglophone crisis, a crisis that has been pulling on for close to 4 years today. And the coast town, of course, had an adverse impact on the turnout in different schools in Boya. The governor, Bernard Okale-Bilai, and his collaborators visited some schools today to take stock of the situation and also to encourage the students and pupils to brave the odds, to brave the security challenges and fight for their education. And the governor was accompanied by several soldiers. And the question civil society organizations and leaders have been asking is, will the students and pupils equally be accompanied or protected by the soldiers as it is the case with administrative authorities? A question that remains without answer, and of course raising concerns over the security of students and pupils returning to their classrooms for the 2020-2021 academic year. Take a listen to Southwest Governor Bernard Okale-Bilai.
It's a very good beginning. We want to congratulate the principals who have organized it with the regional delegates. We are inviting the other schools to do same, to organize the schools, the campus, according to the measures prescribed by the Minister of Health. And we want to tell the parents and the students that this is the beginning. And the beginning is very important. Because those who are still dragging their feet, we should not regret. We want to sincerely believe that this year must be a normal year for the schools. So that's why we invite all the parents to accompany their children to schools. We decided to mobilize the whole administration today and tomorrow, Wednesday, to accompany the children to schools. Those who can help the children's families who have problems will do it. And those visits will continue tomorrow and after tomorrow till the end of this week.
Now to the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon in the Marwa 1 and 2 subdivisions. Turnout of students and pupils in the different institutions in that part of the country was equally low, and this is because of the security climate reigning there in Marwa 1 and 2 subdivision, with the recurrent attacks of militants of the terrorist sect Boko Haram making incursions from the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria and attacking striking homes and people in Marwa in the far north and other parts of the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon. In some of the schools, classrooms were empty or had as few as 2 pupils, while others were full, and the teachers were already at work delivering knowledge onto the pupils and of course the students in the primary and secondary schools in Marwa 1 and 2 subdivisions, while some parents were still checking the names of their children in order to proceed with registration. And another issue that was on the day on the action as far as the return to school of students and pupils in Marwa 1 and 2 subdivision is concerned is the COVID-19, and school officials took the necessary measures to ensure that the children go to school while staying safe from the coronavirus pandemic. And here in Cameroon's economic capital, before we take the back-to-school images in the town of Douala, we go to Limbe, where back-to-school was equally timid today. Back-to-school was timid as a result of the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Our correspondent Davidson Maimo reports that turnout was quite low.
Monday, the 5th of October 2020, it is a reopening of schools for the 2020-2021 school year, and equally coincides with the International Teachers' Day celebration. However, in Limbe, no official communique to the celebration of this year's International Teachers' Day, as in the case of previous years. One would have expected to see the city busy with the normal hustling and bustling of activities. But in the context of the ongoing 4 years Anglophone armed conflict, Monday is being observed throughout the northwest and southwest region as a traditional ghost town day. The schools, from the primary to the secondary, in both the public and private, are almost empty, except the presence of school administrators and teachers in some schools.
We have started today. We have opened the school, but the only thing is that parents are not passing today. But we hope that tomorrow they will pass. And everything is okay. We used to put children 6 on one table. Now we are respecting the social distance. We are putting 4 children.
Nonetheless, most school administrators who spoke to us off camera said the poor start is not just because of the traditional Monday's ghost town, but equally the late release of the GC examination, the financial hardship parents are facing, not leaving out the very fact that some teachers stay at home to observe the International Teachers' Day. All these are contributing factors of the poor kick of the 2020-2021 school year. Some parents, on the other hand, said they are waiting to see the full resumption of schools before they can send their kids to schools.
Because you never gave a house. Picking them for school, you had no difference. When play don't go fine, by the grace of God, they go fine, we'll start picking.
If not for today, picking they not go school because today not go stand. Tomorrow they will go. People not say we're on school for this time, stand now on Tuesday. Okay.
Monday 5th October ghost town in Limbe witnessed a handful of commercial motorbikes and few taxis in circulation. In some neighborhoods, local markets were operational, though major business centers and most offices were closed.
Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, the resumption of academic activities in secondary and primary schools across the town in the 6 subdivisions was near hitch-free, though some schools witnessed a low turnout or a turnout not equivalent to what it usually receives as far as students and pupils are concerned, and the academic academic year 2020-2021 kick-started hitch-free in many of the schools in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. And we talked to two school officials, Nji Bernard, principal of Équinoxe College, Bonaberi, and Dr. Hans Bokwe, principal of Presbyterian Secondary School, Douala. Both of them highlight the measures that have been taken so far to ensure the safety of children, safety from coronavirus, and of course some challenges that they are facing. Take a listen.
Said college, we followed the measures put in place by the Minister of Secondary Education, especially concerning this COVID-19, which is a serious pandemic. Our school is really populated, and we had to respect the measures. So the first thing we did was that we separated our school into two streams. The first stream, that is from 1 to 4, they come in the morning and close about 12:30. Then the second stream comes in as from 1 o'clock and close at 5:30. So we had done those arrangements during the holiday, and just hoping that all the students, they come back in their numbers. We had also respected the hygienic condition. We respected all the hand sanitizing and washing of hands, putting on their face masks before they come into school. And we checked that this morning, all of them, they came in with their face masks, and as of now, we had witnessed no problem. The only first problem we witnessed was the fact that this had to cause us to go to an extra mile by employing more than the number of teachers that were using last year. So that is the first problem we are facing. The second problem we are equally facing is the fact that some of these students have not yet registered. A good number of them have not yet registered. And when we try to contact some of the parents and inquire, they are afraid that maybe the school year may not go through, and that they may pay the fees and the school does not go through. So that is one major problem we are seeing. There are some who are in class who had not yet registered. So we have allowed them to be there, and we are assuring them that the school year is going to run through without any problem.
And before this date, the children started coming here on Saturday. We program them according to their classes. So we had Form 1 who came on Saturday, Form 2 and 3. And on Sunday, the 4th of October, we had the resumption for Form 5 and opposite. So all these classes have come to school. And today is the kickoff. We have had the first period, and it's very, very successful. Out of 1,000 students that we were expecting, apart from lower seat, we already have 600 students who are in school. So it's a good takeoff, and we believe that the other 200 who are still lacking at home, they will come and join us very soon. At the entrance, when they were coming, we took their temperatures, and there are buckets all over for them to wash hands. And the children themselves have their face masks, and they also have hand sanitizers. And what we have done in the dormitory, since the boarding school, we have put 24 per room, and there's social distancing. In the classroom too as well, by the government prescription, that should have 50 students in the classroom. Some of the classrooms have 45 students, some have 50 students. So we are trying to make a balance. We are still expecting more students to come, and when they come, of course, we are going to respect the government decision of 50 per classroom. But for now, some classes are 45, some classes are 30. Apart from Form 5 or opposite that have a full capacity of 50, other classes are 45 and 30. But we're expecting that the children, when the children come, will respect the 50.
Nji Bernard, principal of Équinoxe College, Bonaberi, and Dr. Hans Bokwe, principal of Presbyterian Secondary School, Douala, speaking there. Now back to the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Civil society leaders raising serious concerns over the security and safety of children as they embarked on the current academic year, the 2020-2021 academic year, many of them will not be able to go to school because of the security situation in their areas of residence. And Abdul Karim Ali thinks that it is not possible to have a smooth academic year in the two Anglophone regions of the country without the Anglophone crisis solved. Take a listen to him.
Completely wrong to take the right of education, but it is totally and completely wrong to tamper or trample with any single right of a human being. Right to self-determination precedes right to education. Right to self-determination is next to right to live. Human right is a product of liberalism, a concept that shows that a person is free to do what they want so long as they fit within the laws, especially internationally. If we talk about the right to education, we should talk about all the rights. Why are these people being killed, being jailed? Because of their right to self-determination that they expressed. To go to school, you need to travel. You need to move from your home that you live and go to this place that has been established as a school facility. Now, in these places you're mentioning, the streets, as you said, are heavily militarized. We wake up every morning with dead bodies and guns over their head. But the big question should be, can the children go to school? That is the question. Should they go to school? Yes. Why shouldn't they go to school? Can they go to school, Mr. Babila? Me, an adult, can I move freely in Bamenda? The answer I'm giving you is no.
One more of children.
One more of children. One more of teachers. And when you talk about schooling, when you talk about schooling in our setting where basic education is very important. You are not looking at university students who can take care of themselves, they can even run perhaps, or even children in colleges like Form 4, Form 5, laws and opposite. You're not talking about that. You're more concerned about perhaps Form 1 and 2 kids, pupils from primary 1 to 6, and then nursery children. Where would they run to if something happens? There are guardians who take them to school. What do they do with 3 children in their hands if this bullet starts?
Abdul Karim Ali, Muslim scholar, speaking there to the Inside on Equinoxe Television. And still concerning the 4-year-long armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, a member of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, political scientist and former member of government, Professor Elvis Ngole has condemned the celebration of 1st of October as Independence Day for the former British Southern Cameroons. Some images circulated last 1st of October 2020 showing people hoisting flags which were not flags of the Republic of Cameroon and singing another national anthem different from the national anthem of the Republic of Cameroon. And Professor Elvis Ngole thinks that this is out of place and unlawful in a republic. Take a listen to him.
First of all, an independence for which territory? For which country? I don't understand. Because no one country has more than one independence date. Each country throughout the whole world can only boast of and have only one independence date. No country can have 2. And 11th February, believe you me, between you and I, no, 1st of October, and I say, especially 1st of October, people make a mistake. I say this in all professional and citizen conscience. Some people are exaggerating. Some people are engaging in child's play.
But Professor,
let me complete my sentence. These people are wrong because, first of all, they are telling lies. Secondly, they are misleading their fellow Cameroonians. And thirdly, they are creating unnecessary tension where one should not exist. Neither 1st of October nor 11th February heralded or announced the independent date of anybody.
Before now, people were actually hiding to hoist some flags in some places. They were actually hiding to hoist them on trees and so on.
The flags
but in the images that we saw on the 1st of October 2020, we saw people hoisting flags without any interruption, without any disturbance,
well, I don't know,
singing the national anthem, which is not the national anthem of the Republic of Cameroon, singing all those things. When those things begin to happen, does that mean that the state has lost control?
13 divisions.
Does that mean that the state has lost control?
Subdivisions, there's nowhere there are councils. There's no 75 councils. Nowhere, no one council area, no 13 divisions where somebody hoisted a flag.
In La Vérité en France on Équinoxe Television yesterday. Now to Mbanga in the Mongo Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. The locality is suffering chronic infrastructural challenges. One of the major problems includes access to potable water. Some of the major problems include access to potable water, which is said to have claimed lives already in that part of the country. For me, I'm Sanda reports.
Des cas de maladies hydriques et de décès enregistrés en Banga dans le dépôt.
Sorry for the abrupt end of that report. We'll be coming back to it in a subsequent news editions. In the report coming up next, Immaculate Fogwe takes a look at challenges that persons living with disabilities face on a daily basis.
13-year-old Chris Dame lost her sight at the age of 7. Today, Chris Dame is a primary 6 pupil at government school Balidwala. Anxious about school resumption, he prepares his school materials for the new academic year. Due to his visual impairment, what he uses in class is different from that of any ordinary pupil.
Ils ont principalement deux matériaux.
Visually impaired persons use Braille. It is a system of dots that represents letters of the alphabet in order to help them read and write, while the Cronma abacus is used to compute mathematical problems. The problem in Cameroon is that these items are very rare and expensive. Recently, Chris was looking for a Braille Bible, but he could not find it.
Dernièrement, il cherchait une Bible en braille.
13-year-old Chris Dame has decided not to let his visual impairment get hold of him as he tries making every second of his life worth living. Giving up has never been an option.
I have a brain tumor, and that is what has affected my sight. The brain tumor can be removed by a neurosurgeon, but we don't have the financial means to do so. I am begging on everyone to help me so I can regain my sight. I would love to become an IT engineer in future.
Thanks to his excellent performance in school, Chris Dame was elected in 2017 as a junior parliamentarian representing the littoral region. Just like all the visually impaired people, Chris Dame is facing difficulties acquiring the necessary school requirements that can help him evolve in school. The teenager is in need of financial assistance so the tumor can be extracted and his sight regained.
Talking Point is up next. Thanks for staying with us in Talking Point. In today's edition, we are receiving a disability inclusion advocate. Nincho Samuel is the general coordinator of the unit of associations of persons with disabilities and disability inclusion advisor. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. Babila. Thanks to Equinoxe for giving us this privilege and opportunity to be at the service of those who've been called to serve.
You're welcome. Now, today, students and pupils are returning to school, and some few seconds ago, we had a report of a young man who is a child who is facing difficulties because of some disabilities which he is living with, and it's not very easy for him to catch up with all the other children or the other persons who do not have disabilities. what's your own feeling about how do you look at these disabilities?
Persons with disabilities naturally are faced with threefold challenges. They're faced with the challenge of discrimination, they are faced with the challenge of limited infrastructure, and they are equally faced with the challenge of poverty, where it makes it very difficult for them to have access to education, not to talk about the situation in the Northwest and the Southwest region that has been compounded by war and COVID, therefore making it totally impossible for persons with disabilities to have access to education. We did a survey last year of 157 persons with disabilities who were schooling in the Northwest region before 2016, and 143 of them are internally displaced because they want to further their education. And out of these 143 that are displaced, only 57 are going to school. Then you can see the impact that the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest region has had on the lives of persons with disabilities, making it very, very difficult and almost impossible for them to school for the past 4 years.
All right, you coming from the Northwest region, from Bamenda, and you're living with visual disability. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're hearing gunshots and people, commotion, people running here and there, foots of people, you're hearing footsteps, but you're not understanding what's happening? Have you found yourself in such a situation?
There are instances where I found myself in the bush because somebody helped me to run into the bush because there were gunshots and nobody knew what was about to happen. And there are instances that I've not been able to move or to run because there is nobody to help me run. And as of now, I am a victim. I have a health issue, which is hypertension, because of the persistent gunshots and the fact that I don't know what is going to happen to me next or what is happening to my peers with disabilities. As a visual impaired person and being a leader, I have the concern of persons with disabilities so much at heart, so that when we hear that they have burned houses, there is shooting there, people are running here and there, it pricks my heart, because I know if as a leader with a strong character to defend people with disabilities, I found myself a victim, then what more of those who don't have the abilities that I have to be able to make the difference in my generation?
When you found yourself in that kind of very difficult situation where you couldn't move, but you were hearing gunshots, and you were actually feeling that something wrong was happening around you, but you didn't know what was happening, who was doing what was your state of mind in that situation, and how did you manage to contain yourself?
It's all about resigning to fate. Sometimes you just resign to fate and you tell God, whatever is the case, let it happen. And let me tell you that I'm a parent, and you know, with children, when these things are happening, you find it very difficult to contain yourself, because you are wondering what is going to happen to your children. Because for somebody like me, I can say I have attained a certain level in life, but my children, I have so much fear for them, and that is what is making me sick.
All right, the other people, you're a leader, and you're like encouraging other people, guiding other people who are also living with disabilities, helping them to overcome the challenges. When you speak with them, what do they tell you?
My brother, you need to listen to their testimonies. There are so many girls with disabilities who have suffered sexual harassment because of this crisis, and almost 100% of persons with disabilities who have been involved in economic activities to make ends meet, because it is only economic craft that most people with disabilities are involved in, and with this crisis it is 100% down, because sometimes we go for 3 weeks with lockdown, we go for 1 month with lockdown. Imagine, even if you have a little capital, it is obvious that you will consume it in order to survive. So it is very, very damaging to the lives of persons with disabilities in the Northwest region. And we can only pray and hope that if there is somebody who can do something to alleviate us from this crisis, we need to do something. And just to say that we started a protection pilot phase of a project in Boyo Division, and we have been doing sensitization, we have been doing mobilization, we've been providing basic needs just to make sure that people with disabilities in those communities survive. And deep down in our minds, we are so fearful that the homes, the villages have been razed down. Maybe there are some people with disabilities who could not run, and we are afraid that they might not still be alive for now. So if there is anything that can be done to alleviate the suffering that is upon persons with disabilities, it is now for us to do it, please.
How is the unit of associations of persons with disabilities going about what you're saying now, that is assisting people materially, and of course giving them advice and so on, sensitizing them? How do you carry on with these activities?
This is just one of the activities, and we are so grateful to Equinoxe for giving us this platform to sensitize and raise the plight of persons with disabilities at this point in time. Thanks to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, the UNHCR, and the INTERSOS that has supported us with a percentage of the resources that we need to go around doing all of this. And equally, we cannot go without thanking the CBC Health Services through the socio-economic empowerment of persons with disabilities and the Empowerment and Disability Inclusive Development Program. All of the CBC Health Services and many, many other humanitarian services that are stood by us this time to make sure that we reach out to persons with disabilities. And remember that trying to reach out to persons with disabilities with humanitarian assistance come the situation of COVID. And COVID has just come to compound the situation whereby we are tackling it from the angle of trying to prevent them from contracting COVID and preventing them from stray bullets, preventing them from hunger. Because if persons with disabilities will not die of stray bullets, they will die of hunger or neglect, because access to health is equally a challenge, especially in the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon.
Now, you as a leader and the other leaders, how want to understand how you're able to move from one part of the Northwest region to the other, from one place to the other, in the midst of bullets flying here and there, guns talking here and there, burnings going on here and there. How do you manage to move through?
If you live by faith, only God can help, because I cannot really explain how we do it, but God is doing it for us. I just cite an example. A few weeks back, I was in Ndu, that is in Donga of the Northwest region, and it took me more than 11 hours to 12 to reach Ndu, and 13 hours to come back, and traveling whereby in certain areas we have to go on food, and you cannot just imagine. But as a humanitarian, it's obvious that we've taken the risk and we've sacrificed ourselves for the well-being of others. So fear is no longer an issue for us. We just pray and hope that God is going to guide and watch us as we take upon this daunting task of restoring hope to the lives of persons with disabilities who are almost hopeless. And just imagine that we are talking about 250,000 persons with disabilities in the Northwest region of Cameroon who don't have access to basic services, because the economic, the social, and the political system of the Northwest and Southwest region is almost down to zero.
So, do you sometimes seek protection from security and defense forces?
It's very risky, so we try to be neutral. So we just believe that God is watching, and that is what we believe in, because we don't need security from any of the belligerents, because one may think that we are siding with the other, therefore making our work very difficult. So we believe in the protection of God, and that is just how we go about doing our activities.
Of course, one of the core principles of humanitarian activities is neutrality and trying to be in the middle, not belonging or going along with one party or the other. So, do you often face some sort of threats from some people?
Obviously, when some of our brothers and sisters go towards government to receive humanitarian assistance, they face that threat. Particularly for me, I have not faced that threat because of the work I do, but I had faced threats sometime as a politician, because you will not believe that I'm the pioneer visual impaired municipal council of Cameroon, and for the past years that we were still at service, it was quite risky for us to do our work, so making it very difficult.
All right, what are you looking up to next?
We are looking up to a society whereby the rights of persons with disabilities are protected, and it should become the concern for all. Because if the society don't recognize that there are persons with disabilities in institutions that needs protection, then many of us will suffer, and suffer greatly. Because many institutions that were educating persons with disabilities or providing the basic services to persons with disabilities in the Northwest region is almost closed. So we are looking forward to a society whereby we are given the right we do, because the right of protection is the right that is ineligible for all, and nobody should joke with it. And looking at the situation in hand, if there is anything that can be done for a ceasefire to be called in the Northwest region, then it will give us hope that we still have life, because now we are almost hopeless except hanging on God for faith.
Nincho Samuel, General Coordinator of the Coordinating Unit of Associations of Persons with Disabilities. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Babila. Thank you to Equinoxe. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my colleagues. And thanks to everybody, the team, the technicians on board that has given this opportunity for me to air my views. And I pray somebody has listened to it, and something needs to be done to alleviate the pain on persons with disabilities.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. That's it for today.